A young mountaineer set out alone on a journey to conquer one of the highest peaks of the Himalayas. With nothing but a backpack, a rope, and an unshakable belief in himself, he entered the snow-covered forest. No guide. No signal. Just silence and shadows. Each step he took deeper into the woods, the more the wilderness tested him. The howling winds, the crunching snow underfoot, and the eerie silence felt like whispers of fear. But he walked on. He had trained for this. More than that, he had dreamed of this. With every breath, he reminded himself, I will not give in to fear. He believed that if he kept his mind strong, his body would follow. Night fell quickly, wrapping the forest in freezing darkness. He made camp under a thick pine tree, shivering but determined. As stars glimmered overhead, he closed his eyes and whispered, if no one believes in me, I will still believe in myself. That night, alone in the heart of nowhere, the fire within him burned brighter than ever. He didn't know what trials lay ahead, but one thing was clear, he wasn't climbing a mountain outside. He was climbing one within. On the third day of the climb, disaster struck. His foot slipped, and in seconds, he was hanging off a cliff, held by nothing but a rope he had tied minutes earlier. Snow fell harder. The sky turned dark. He screamed for help, but there was no answer. Minutes turned to hours. Fear crept in. Doubt whispered, you won't make it. His mind raced. What if the rope snaps? What if no one finds me? He began to lose hope. He couldn't see the bottom, or the top. Exhausted and freezing, he considered letting go. But here's the twist, unknown to him, the ground was just a few feet below. If he had simply let himself drop, he would have landed safely. But fear blinded him. Not his physical strength, but his broken faith nearly cost him his life. That moment wasn't about the rope. It was about trust in the tools, in the process, and most importantly, in himself. When we allow fear to override faith, we often end up suffering more than necessary. At dawn, a rescue team found him unconscious, still tied to the rope, still hanging. They brought him back to safety, and when he woke, the truth hit him hard, he had been just feet above the ground all night. The rope had held. His training had worked. But fear had almost convinced him otherwise. That realization changed him forever. He no longer measured strength in muscles, but in mindset. He began speaking to other climbers, sharing how true courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the choice to trust even when fear screams loudest. His story became a lesson, faith is not blind, it sees beyond fear. Now, he says to all who listen, if you're hanging between fear and faith, choose faith. Because sometimes, what you fear the most is just inches away from your breakthrough.